Hello artist friends, are you ready to draw something great? Today we're going to talk about the artist Andy Warhol. We're going to study his famous painting, Campbell's Soup Can. We will learn about the vocabulary word pop art. The skills we're going to be studying today are pop art, realism. I'm going to teach you some great tricks on lettering. We're also going to talk about complementary colors. The materials we're using today are watercolor pencils. And these are really fun, and I can't wait to show you some of the techniques to use those and a couple of the tricks to make your painting look great. So if you're ready, then let's begin. Andy Warhol is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he painted not just this one, but 32 Campbell's soup cans in the 1960s for an art show. This art show was so famous, and this collection of soup cans made such an impression on the artistic community that a famous museum called the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, bought the entire collection. Now, some of these paintings have actually sold to other people, and just one of these soup can paintings sold for $11 million. So, Andy Warhol was very famous for this. Let's first talk about our vocabulary word pop art. So, pop art is when an artist takes an item or a person or an icon that's very popular at the moment and makes art out of it. So for instance, Andy Warhol is really well known for being a pop artist. He did paintings of money, popular to everybody, Mickey Mouse, Marilyn Monroe, rock stars, and then the everyday items like Campbell's soup cans. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we learn about the artist. So pop art is just taking one item that's popular and making it into art. So at first people weren't sure how they felt about this. Like, is it really art? I mean, it looks just like the Campbell's soup can, and it's not as if Andy Warhol designed the Campbell's soup can, but the fact that he did it with different colors and printed it differently and had a whole collection, then all together collectively, it seemed like art. And after people kind of got over the fact that he was using something that we're all so used to as art, it actually became very famous. So the Campbell's soup cans, like I said, are at the MoMA, and if you go there today, you can see a bunch of them on collection. I want to look at this painting a little bit closer so that we can use our artist eyes and be able to see some of these details and things that we need to so that when we recreate the masterpiece, we can do our best job. First of all, what kind of lines are we going to be using today as we draw Campbell's soup can? So we have a lot of curved lines and just a few straight lines, but really, after those two straight lines, everything else is curved. So I want you to look and see up here how many times we use this circle, or when it's a smush circle, we call it an ellipse. We're actually going to draw quite a few ellipses up here. And the one thing I want you to notice is these dark spaces and light spaces. So this is where we get into the realism part of pop art. So even though it's taking a popular item, Andy Warhol still wanted to make sure everyone knew it was a soup can and make it look realistic. And when you see these type of shadows, those shadows are very apparent in metal, and the top of soup cans are metal. So we're going to be really careful about drawing these, but also putting in some of these darker parts and leaving some light so that it looks like reflective metal. You can see that it's even down here on the bottom of the can. So that's something we're going to be looking at. Another thing is that when you have a cylinder, it's round. So if you have a straight line on a cylinder, then it turns into a curved line. So notice that this top line is curved. If we could draw a line through Campbell's, it's slightly curved. Our middle line and even these lines down here, they're all going to be a little bit curved because they're going around a cylinder. Now, I can't wait to teach you some of the tricks on how to do some fancy lettering like this. The last thing I want you to look at is complementary colors. So complementary colors are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So red and green are complementary, yellow and purple are complementary, and orange and blue are complementary. So as you look at this painting, can you see any complementary colors? Good, so we've got red and we've got green next to each other. We've got this green, we've got the orange and the blue right next to each other. And we have a lot of purple and we have some yellow. So everything about this is complementary, which means it pops. So it's kind of fun that we're talking about pop art, but really we're talking about popular items. But Andy Warhol was so good at complementary colors that we can also say that his art pops because he's using complementary colors next to each other.